Alright, most churches will only help you out if you're a member of their congregation. However, this is not about churches or congregations. We've already seen the situation with Rod Wright. He did try to do the right thing, but at the same time he also has evidence that needs to be brought forward and turned into the courts. There's also a man named Warnick who used to be an art teacher in Chapel High School. Now, with Leslie Snell trying to pretend that I was threatening her life and so on and so forth, going out of her way to play victim, it is essential to go to an outside law enforcement agency. There is no police department in Deuel County. When I was assaulted by Scott DeCoste on the 16th of December of 2020 for trying to turn him in, I'd been attempting to turn him in since 2018. He helped to cover up the fact that his officers did not do their jobs and have repeatedly gone out of their way to assist my predators, including registered sex offender Robert Franklin Warnick, as well as, well, several of the assaults against me, including by Joshua Rayborn, who is Amy Kalina Kingery's ex-boyfriend. I've got recordings with him where he explains that he doesn't smoke meth, he shoots it up. He also explained that Amy's 2 daughters that me and Rayanna were supposed to be taking care of, well, were basically dropped on us, where he admits that they had written a letter to the judge asking not to go back to their mother, and I understand completely why. I love Amy, I really do. Now, tomorrow morning, I am not going to be able to go talk to the detectives. It'll have to be tomorrow afternoon when I have someone to go in with me. Also, my evidence needs to be kept safe. It shows felonies across multiple states. And I'm not talking about the felonies committed by those who helped me, because obviously, you know, Brett Roloff selling meth 2 years ago, and nobody's going to care about that. If you can't be prosecuted for it, the statute of limitations is over. Most of these people, the crimes that they committed while I was there, the statute of limitations is over. They can't get in any trouble for it. Having somebody to go in with me who's informed, that's pretty important. The guy who's going to go in with me, he did take a look at some of my paperwork. You got to see the stuff from Marcia Estrada. The problem is that these officers keep continuing to break the law to prevent me from having time to defend myself, outright lying to have me incarcerated. Meanwhile, I have recordings with a lot of different people, including my public pretenders, who would not defend me. They refused to look at evidence, refused to collect evidence. They have to rely on my predators, who I was trying to turn in, for that evidence. Meanwhile, there's a conversation here with hold on a second, I'm going to type this in here. I'll go to my channel. Actually, we'll probably do it on here. Law enforcement nationwide know these tricks, and they pull these tricks when you try to turn in a bad cop, which makes it essential to pay attention to what the hell's going on. It makes it essential to have someone go in with you. It makes it essential to have a recording device of some sort. wants me to watch this on my TV. I don't want to do that. My TV's off. I don't know what the hell it's trying to do there. Oh, come on. My channel. Videos. We'll look up JONES. That is not on my channel. I am not good with this computer stuff. The crimes committed by law enforcement have prevented me from getting and obtaining my medical records. It's prevented me from having adequate housing. I did have housing in Chapel, Nebraska. Unfortunately, I did not have a caseworker. Now, my autism advocate was trying to help me out. It should not have fallen on her to do so. But also... oh, come on now. Your channel. Alright. Who else was gonna do it? You know? How do I find the videos I'm looking for on this? Maybe the pen? Let's hope it'll play it from my computer then, because I can't get it on my phone. Let's see. There's a bunch of them here. A whole bunch of them. Let's see. Maybe this one. The internet here is slow.
Years and years and years and years, right?
Let's try to fast forward it to hopefully a part where it's... This is from January 25th of 2021. Fuck, it's not wanting to load. Let's go back. Maybe one of the shorter ones will. This one is called Calling About Robert Warnick, a call to Sergeant Jones of the Nebraska State Patrol.
Phone number. There is a possibility that I would get literally hundreds of restricted calls again, and I can't have that, ma'am. I cannot have Leslie Snell of the Deuel County Sheriff's Department creating a further safety issue for me. It's different.
Now that right there, this is from January 26th of 2021. So over a year ago. This is why I was arrested. This is why they utilized their power and abused their power, because they didn't want to get turned in for the crimes that they committed. Now, Leslie Snell was not doing her job at the point that she did that. She already knew that I was having harassing phone calls from restricted numbers because my phone number had been leaked. Now, I did have my phone number on a YouTube video. However, the threatening and harassing calls have been on all of my phones prior to that one, and also the ones on that phone started prior to me giving it out on one of the videos. But this is not the one we're looking for. We're looking for the one with, I believe it might be this one.
It's been extremely difficult with.
Hold on, we'll go.
Or anything like that?
No, ma'am, I have.
Alright.
Alright, I recorded the conversation with Jones. The last video that I made, her voice was garbled for some odd reason. I don't understand why it won't just play it. I can hear her, but you guys, you're vocal. Anyway, I called her back and we spoke.
Sergeant Jones, can I help you?
Yes, ma'am. This is Sean Schwartz again.
Hi, Sean. So we can do Thursday at 1:30. I do need to ask you a couple things, though. One, are you allowed to go into the library? You haven't been banned from being in there or anything like that?
No, ma'am, I haven't.
Okay. So let's do 1:30 at the library. And I guess we just need to have a couple ground rules. One thing I have to talk to the supervisor. He wants to talk to you first. And let's go over what...
Let's pause there because first of all, the supervisor never called me. And I was waiting on that call. Matter of fact, on Thursday when we were supposed to meet, I was still waiting on that call. There was also the safety issue between Leslie Snell trying to give out my number, me trying to turn her in, so it was pretty obvious that she was going to try to utilize her power, her position, and that is a position with the Deuel County Sheriff's Department, in order to try to prevent me from turning her in and to prevent me from showing that evidence. There's also the fact that she's friends with Robert Warnick, and she was also pissed off at me because I had made calls to the Deuel County Sheriff's Department and I recorded them and I posted them on my YouTube, and Scott DeCoste did let me know that Leslie Snell was not happy about that. So I was already aware, and she was already aware, that it was being posted live. She was already aware of it. There's also a lot of other stuff to go into it, such as the fact that she was the 911 dispatcher who I called on multiple occasions to let her know about much of the abuse that I was enduring. Now, when I called Deuel County Sheriff's Department and let them know about the restricted phone calls harassing me all the fucking time, that was Leslie Snell that I was calling. That was Leslie Snell that I was talking to. She knew exactly what she was doing when she tried to give out my number, not once but twice. And then they used that to prevent me from being able to go to court. They also, the other three people I was trying to turn in were Scott DeCoste and Robert Warnick and William Barr. Now, in all of those cases, well, with Scott DeCoste, it's not just him. It's him and his entire department. Brent Jepson works for him, or last I heard he was going to work for Scott DeCoste. I'm hoping that he changed his mind because I like Brent. If he's working for a bad sheriff like that, that would put a very nasty taste in my mouth.
Concerns are before we look at any evidence, because once we look at it, if it's something that is going towards a crime, we have to take it if it's in our custody. And so he doesn't.
Well, it wouldn't be in their custody, but they wanted to talk about bringing a truck so that they could load it all up, and then it would be in their custody. As it is, all they need to do is make fucking copies. They can't take my evidence. I've done what I can to try to make copies of this stuff. There's just so much of it. I've also got issues with my copy machine ends up getting too many copies go through it. It just doesn't want to work. It goes really super slow. There's also the fact that it's not attached to my computer through a cord, so it has to try to do that through the internet. this ain't easy. I'm in a hotel room right now, so I'm not sure if it'll even work if I set it up. I'm hoping it will, but I mean, what am I supposed to do, you know? There's a lot of situations that people have spoken about that their recollection of the situation is different from the situation that actually happened. Part of that is because of the amount of time that it took. These guys have been dragging their feet and making every excuse. Now on Thursday, that was the Thursday after January 25th, when I was supposed to go speak with Sergeant Jones, there was a safety issue in chapel, and there was also a safety issue with giving away all of my evidence to them when I needed it for court dates. There is evidence of a lot of different crimes that were committed against me. The biggest issue is, if they take it, I can't use it. If they take it, I can't show the evidence. If they take my computers and, you know, my other electronic devices, then I don't have access to the evidence and I can't speak out. If they decide at that point, since I no longer have the ability to speak out, that they're just gonna run me over, that's exactly what they'll do. Now, due to the fact that Nebraska State Patrol was involved in the threats and harassment and assaults against me, it makes me afraid to go to Nebraska State Patrol, since the FBI has completely blackballed me and done everything that they can to ignore the situation, and due to the fact that their website, IC3, doesn't work. I mean, holy hell. And I'm not the only one who's tried to get it to work. Mandy Singer has tried to get it to work. There was a lady up in Washington State who tried to get it to work, and I can't remember all of these names. I have a list just from when I was in Arapahoe County in Colorado. It's got over 100 people on it, and I've had to deal with hundreds more since. This stuff does need to be turned into the FBI, and the FBI does need to take it seriously. I didn't go out of my way to commit crimes. I took abuse until I had a meltdown. And then I was abused for having a meltdown. Now, I had to do some pretty serious things to try to get someone to actually take a look at it. When it comes to the situation in Deuel County, there are witnesses to the situation. Like the situation with James Hammond. That's one of the deputies, former deputies, I guess he quit. But now Scott DeCoste is trying to help him to run for Deuel County Sheriff. Well, not after the felonies he committed. Not by a long shot. That's the thing, is that any one of these officers dumb enough to work for Scott DeCoste covered up crimes for Scott DeCoste, and they're going to prison if I have anything to say about it. The desperate things that I had to do after literally thousands of threats against my life, it's pretty serious. The stuff that they're trying to pretend is me threatening people's lives is obviously me talking about how wrong it is to do those things, how it is not okay to make those people martyrs, how that is only going to reinforce people's bias and hatred towards us. When I say us, I mean the disabled and the homeless. Leslie Snell has gone out of her way to play victim in order to assist Deuel County Sheriff with preventing me from having access to my evidence. They manipulated one judge, and the other judge, well, it's pretty fucking obvious he took part in it every step of the way. Now, Judge Weimar, there's a pretty good chance that he's involved too, and this is all stuff that the FBI needs to take a look at. But you see how the FBI treats me. They're fucking cunt rags. Doing the best I can, though. At least I have the evidence. Mandy Singer has seen some of the evidence, but there's so much more. I mean, nearly everything that Natalie Bollinger said, I've proven is a fucking lie outright. Most of the stuff that Scott DeCoste said in his paperwork, and Leslie Snell as well, and of course Robert Warnick. I mean, if they'd have bothered to do their jobs, they'd have seen that I was the one that was stalked. If they'd have gone to, on Robert Warnick's paperwork, he doesn't explain that most of the things that happened that he was claiming I was stalking him for was me going to Pumpkin Pantry. I was sitting in Pumpkin Pantry eating breakfast when he came in after assaulting me. He should have already been in jail. And he claimed I gave him a horrifying look. This motherfucker had just assaulted me and he's still out. You're goddamn right I give him a horrifying look. I was fucking horrified.